Hey, how you doing, everybody? So we are.
Hold
Well,
on.
Chris is already ready to go. Look at us. Chris is ready. Go ahead, Chris. You have a
Before-
question already? Say it, Chris. Do you have it?
I'm gonna smack you in your lips before we get started. Honest to God in heaven, as soon as I hit go live, Facebook disconnected us. But that's why I played the longer commercial. So I got Facebook back connected. So if you wanted to watch there, or if you know anybody trying to watch on Facebook, let them know it's back on. So yeah, that's all. I'm sorry. I'll shut the hell up now.
That's okay.
So, Chris, we do have to change that commercial. I love the knives. He sends us quality of everything, but God, it's Christmas is over and I need a break. So, guys, we have tonight special guest Vikki Casey with Chasing the Open Air. And Vikki, we're going to kind of let you take it from here and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hi, guys. So like Ben said, I'm Vikki Casey. I live in New York State. Rah. That's my excitement. And I kind of got in touch with these guys got in touch with me for the Women's Month event that they're doing. So I'm very thankful and super happy to be here today. To tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a mom of 3 teenage boys who are watching me from the side here. So sorry if I keep looking
poor
over.
lady.
They're great. They're really great. I'd have it honestly no other way. And so I guess I just want to tell you kind of how I got into the outdoors. When I was younger, I did not grow up in a family that did any kind of outdoor activity. We did camping in a camper. We did it during the summer. We did it at a campground. And that was really about it. I had a grandfather who fished and took me every so often, but not on any kind of regular basis. And then I had an uncle who hunted, was a whitetail deer hunter. He lived in Florida, but he came up during hunting season every year to New York State. And we typically had a deer hanging from our tree in our backyard with its tongue hanging out of its mouth and dripping blood. So that's really my whole experience with being outdoors as a kid. I was always sort of curious to know, like, how do you get these animals and how do you hang them from the tree, but never really asked questions. So that was kind of my intro to the outdoors. And then I became a teenager and all hell broke loose. So then
I love it that way.
Yeah. I mean, like, you kind of just get into teenage mode, right? Doing whatever it is teenagers do. So then I did go to camp a couple of times in my early years of high school, Girl Scout camp, which I thought was great, but it just didn't keep my interest. So I got older, got into my 20s, into my 30s, had kids, lived in a couple of cool places that right now I wish I lived in. I lived in the northern mountains of New Mexico, which I would die to be in now. It was pretty incredible.
I'll bet that was a pretty sweet place to live.
It was a really nice deal. Wound up coming back to upstate New York though, and like I said, was married, had 3 boys. Well, fast forward through 30s and 40s, and now in 2020 during COVID, I turned 50. So when that happened, I had 3 boys. Again, all young teenagers. We were stuck in the house just like everybody else. And I was kind of losing my mind. So at that point, I had 2 failed marriages and was like, what am I going to do with my life? Right. I guess it was sort of my midlife crisis kind of thing. And I found this group called Hiker Babes, which I thought, oh, okay, I love hiking. I'll do some hiking and I'll meet some other women and I won't have to do it alone, because I was really living in a lot of fear at the time. So I was on Facebook and I joined this group and was like, oh, okay, this is fun. Like literally every weekend I didn't have my kids, I was outside in the woods. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we can all kind of connect on this. The outdoors just does something to you.
It's peace, right? Like when everything's wrong in your
Yeah.
life, there's a spot where you're like, it's okay.
Yeah. I used to sort of say that the trees, they just understood me. So I have this awesome tree tattoo also.
I've seen that. I'm going to ask him.
Right, that. So yeah, so it was really it was being in God's creation, being able to sort of sort through some of the stuff that was like going on in my spirit, and just finding, like you said, like a peace in that. So I spent a lot of time outside. I did a lot of hiking, wandering in the woods kind of thing. I remember very specifically, a friend of mine at the time, he was a friend. Now he's my boyfriend, but at the time I said to him, I was like, I think I'm going to go up and I'm going to just park in a parking lot somewhere and sleep in my truck overnight. He's like, you are not going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I can. I got to get out of this trap of fear. And like everything that I do, I'm so afraid to do by myself. And it was interesting because I don't know. I just sort of threw caution to the wind and was like, I'm going to do this. I didn't wind up doing it. And he wound up buying me a hotel room so that I could go and be safe and warm for the weekend. But at the same time, again, I did it on my own, and it was sort of a step to the next step. You know, you work through stages.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, I could just keep talking for on and on.
No, that's okay. Hey, listen, that's why you think we do podcasts, because our big mouths never stop.
Yeah, I never stop talking.
Yeah.
So
from there,
yeah.
right? From there, you got a hotel room. You're gaining some confidence, which I'm loving this story already.
Yep.
Gain a little bit of confidence, and you have to go to the next level. Tell us, what's the next level?
Yeah. So then I started dating this guy, right? And,
well, that's a next level.
Yeah, that was next level. And
yeah, definitely.
So we're kind of hanging out, and he's like this big outdoorsy guy, and he's like a huge fisherman, and he's got a boat, and he catches these fish that are like 40 and 50 pounds. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Is he single?
He was.
I'm looking. Got a boat and 40, 50 pound fish.
Take
no.
him now. I got some pictures. You'll see. And so yeah, so I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, how do you do this? How do you get involved in this kind of thing? And he's like, I'll take you someday. And I was like, okay, whatever, he's never going to take me. It's not going to be a thing. And so, yeah, we kept hanging out. And then I think it was like about a year later, I was finally hounding him enough. And I was like, I need to go striper fishing. He's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, like that's a big thing up here, striper fishing, in upstate. So there's a picture there, Chris, of me with a big old striper. Where is that sucker?
Other way, Chris. Probably
the very first one, the very first fish I ever caught.
Right there.
Yep, that's it. And that thing was amazing.
Dude, that's a pig. I caught some big stripers in the bay.
Yeah.
That's
not even the one of the bigger ones that's here in the river up here in the Hudson. So I'm on the boat with him, and I'm thinking, like, you know how when you're so excited to do something, you don't think about what you're actually gonna do until you get there, and then you're like, uh-oh, what have I done?
That's how it is when I go to Chris's house.
So So I get on his boat. It's just like a small lund. There were 3 of us. It was me, him, and his cousin, and his cousin Mike. And we're out there, and it's calm water, but it's raining, it's chilly. And I was like, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And we sat quiet for probably a solid hour. And I'm like, okay, well, like my excitement started waning, And then all of a sudden I see one of the poles bend, and I was like, what is that? He's like, grab it, grab the pole. So I grabbed the pole, and the thing just took off. And the sound, the sound.
I know the sound.
Amazing. So so I was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And he's like, reel it in. So he was teaching me, reel down and pull up, reel down and pull up. So I did that. Like, it felt like for about an hour, and that's what was on the end of that rod. So it was incredible.
So let me ask you something. Was that the moment right there that hooked you? Was that it? Was that
That was really the moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so exciting. And like, I have lived around this river my entire life. I never knew there were fish like that in there. I had no idea. It blew my mind. So
were you more excited about the catch? I have to ask this. Or were you more excited that you took the next step and started losing fear and taking new risks?
Yeah. So kind of go back to what I was saying is that I have a very real, very deep-seated fear of water. So the fact that I got on that boat without even thinking about it afterwards, when we're sitting at the bar having beers afterwards, celebrating the catches that we had for the day, I was like, oh my gosh, Chris, like, I didn't even think about being afraid on the boat. He's like, yeah, you told me you had this fear of water or whatever, and you didn't show it at all. And then I kind of started thinking about it, and I was like, I just can't live there anymore, and it was just the next level of, okay, I did it without even thinking. So it was pretty fun. We did brown trouts too. I think it was that same season, a little bit later. And again, I got on the boat, but this time I had let that fear creep in. And I think like sometimes you take those 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we weren't in very deep water. The Hudson is actually quite deeper than I thought it was. But we were out on Lake Ontario for the brown trout. And it was only about 13 feet deep. And I just felt that fear creeping in. And I think that he knew me well enough at that point where he kind of saw it and was like, okay, hey, why don't you drive the boat? And I was like, okay, yeah. I'm going to drive the boat. So we're going like, 2 miles an hour, but still it was just enough to distract me from
just to change your perspective.
Yeah. Thinking about being fearful about it. So yeah. And so fishing since then has been just pretty incredible.
So I know fishing is more your thing than hunting, but I also know you got into hunting.
Yeah.
I've been watching your stuff. I see you're hiking and you're going out. Chris and I watch a lot of everybody's stuff, so it's pretty cool to watch you guys. You go on to fishing and you started. At what point was it hunting or was it fishing for a few years, or did you gradually go into hunting, or where did that step transfer over and change?
Yeah, sure. So honestly, I think that my initial interest was really in hunting. And fishing is just what my boyfriend really is passionate about. So that kind of just happened naturally for me. When I originally kind of started this whole outdoor venture, I also had this fear of being in the woods alone, which I kind of touched on a little bit. And so when I went to some gun safety classes, and here in New York State, it's pretty difficult to get your concealed carry permit. But I did it, and I was like, I went through the steps all on my own. Like, I found out the paperwork I was supposed to do, and I submitted everything, and there's background checks and fingerprinting and interviews and judges and all kinds of things. And so when I did that, and I actually was able to shoot a handgun, I knew that when I shot that gun that very first time, I was at an indoor range. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I thought to myself, this is something I need to know how to do, because there was the confidence and like there was a feeling inside me that I hadn't really ever felt since I was younger, meaning like I just felt free to be able to do and go and be anywhere. and not have to feel like afraid or scared for my safety or my children's safety. So once I started shooting, I think I became good, but I don't know. You know, you feel confident.
Well, you
But
just heard what Chris said about me off camera. I don't know.
I got a lot of work to do, but it sort of did this thing inside me where it was like, it's something that I like, you know how women know that they can do things, but they don't really know they can do things.
They need that little bit of persuasion.
Yeah.
So they feel confident in what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Does I word it good? I don't know. I'm new at this.
No, but I think that's the general gist of what I'm trying to say, is that it's once you realize that you can actually do this thing that you never knew that you could do, you're like, oh, you take it one step further and one step further. So then I started shooting rifles, and my boyfriend was very confident in me, and he's like, oh yeah, we're going to have you shoot a 30-06. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but fine. And I shot it, and I should have sent you guys the video, but I thought to myself, wow, this is amazing. Like the power that's in that and the responsibility of holding that gun. And then I remember later that night saying to him, I want to hunt. He's like, you do? I was like, yeah, because I've always had this sort of homesteading thing. I laugh and say that Lainey Wilson wrote her song Hillbilly Hippie after me, because it truly is. Like, I want to be that homesteading kind of family. I want to be able to be self-sufficient and provide for my family. And I think that was sort of something else that sort of catapulted me into the lifestyle, the hunting and fishing lifestyle. So to kind of go back to your question too about hunting, I wound up signing up for a program that I have since realized is a national program. It's called Becoming an Outdoors Woman.
Okay.
I'm not really sure how it started, but it is a national organization. And it's basically an organization that brings women together to be taught by either men or women how to do historically male-dominated outdoor activities. So things like shooting, fishing, how do you bait a hook, general basic fishing principles, what types of fish are there, hunting, why would you hunt one thing versus another, how do you track your animals, even things like archery. Like that was the thing that drew me in, was the archery portion. So you got to shoot like compound bows and crossbows and all kinds of things that I just never knew existed, if I'm being honest.
So now those resources are out there now for ladies like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. New York State has a Becoming an Outdoors Woman program. We call it New York State BOW, BOW. I know that some of the surrounding states up here also have it. I'm pretty sure Pennsylvania. I know Massachusetts has it. I believe there's one in Florida. A lot of the states. I hate to say all of them because I'm not exactly sure. But if you searched it online, you could find it very easily.
I just want to make sure women know there's resources out there for them.
Yeah, I mean, and even so, so I was very interested in all the sort of intense male-dominated activities, but there's also they also have things like kayaking. Like, what do you look for in a kayak? How do you kayak? Here in New York, they have a winter bow program and a fall bow program. So I just got back from the winter bow, which was in the southern tier, so down near Pennsylvania border. And we learned Dutch oven cooking, like so you can cook over a fire. I mean, we made brownies over a fire. Hello.
They make some cool stuff over fires nowadays.
Big fan. Yeah. Like I thought you just throw stuff in the fire in aluminum foil, but you actually use Dutch ovens and do coals. So you put them on top and bottom, and they were getting crazy with some stuff.
Oh yeah. They make them, what do they call them? Chris, what do you call them? You're a camper, them moon pies or
like
over the fire.
Pies?
Yeah, no, they're like a moon pie. It's a campfire pie. Oh my God, are they
I
good?
don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I do notice there's no Crocs here, Ben. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm going to say
yeah, no Crocs.
No Crocs.
We don't do Crocs. We do Birkenstock.
Vikki, we got to talk about this now.
Yeah, I do. I do Birkenstocks, and actually, I have a pair of Birkenstocks that are Croc material, and so I call them my Birken Crocs.
I still won, Chris.
But bump, yeah, Birken Crocs.
I still won, Chris. Crocs are still involved.
Ah, they're awful, you guys, awful. Yeah, so hunting is definitely something that I'm into. I feel like it's harder. I
It's
don't
a little
know.
more work.
Yeah.
Hunting's a little more work. You got to put a little more effort in. Like you got to scout. You got to,
Yeah.
you keep working at it. Some days that deer won't walk the trail for 3 weeks, right? I mean, I know that's how it is for me. There's days I want to just quit and go fishing. No.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the Dutch ovens that we cooked in, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I love that they have a program out there. I didn't realize they had that out there. So this is really cool.
Yeah. And, I got to be honest, there's a lot of really awesome organizations kind of popping up all over the nation. So another one I was going to mention is Real Camo Girl. So they're on Facebook. It's REEL, Real Camo Girl. And it's just women all over the nation doing really cool stuff. Things that you would not expect from quote unquote ladies, which is pretty cool. A lot of fishing, a lot of hunting, some conservation efforts, and that kind of thing. The other thing is like the cooking aspect of it too. So great. So now you've killed this deer, you've harvested it, broke it down. What do you do with it? Right? Because you can really destroy venison pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like overcooking.
I agree with you on that, totally.
Yeah. Overcooking, it can be terrible. So Real Camo Girl. There's also another organization that I have become intimately involved with since October of last year. So a little bit of background. I met my friend Cheryl, who's actually one of my best friends now online in a women's hunting group on Facebook. And I said to my boyfriend one day, I was like, you know what? This girl, Cheryl, she ice fishes. She says she'll teach me. So I'm going to Massachusetts and I'm going to learn how to ice fish. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. He's like, you don't know this woman. I was like, what can happen? It's fine. I met her on a Facebook women's hunting Facebook group. It'll be fine.
I learned how to shoot a gun down.
Exactly. What could go wrong? So he was like, well, I'm going to come with you. And I was like, all right. I was like, you can come, but it's just going to be like me and Cheryl hanging out, like doing girl stuff and ice fishing, I guess. So we packed up, we went out, we hung out with them for the day. And again, I'd like to remind you, I'm afraid of water. And now I'm walking on water. First time ever walking on a lake. Didn't know that ice made sound.
Yeah, I was terrified my first time.
Oh my God. I've stopped and I was like, I'm already way out here. What do I do now? And, guys, my boyfriend's like, come on. And Cheryl's like, let her take her time. I'm like, this is terrifying. Like, if I fall through here, my boyfriend's like, there's plenty of us will be able to, get you out of the water. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go in the water. So I did it, walked out there. Everything was fine. We caught some fish. I think I sent you a couple of pictures of the first time I went with her ice fishing. I can't remember it's named. Ice fishing 2021 or 22, something like that. We had a great time. And ever since then, she was with her dad and her brother. I mean, she grew up hunting and fishing. This was a lifestyle that was very familiar to her. We got along really well. And now I call her my sister from another mister. So yeah, that's her. It was great. We had the best time. Ice fishing is probably right now, I mean, maybe it's the season too. It's really just one of my favorite things to do.
So it is one of I was going to ask what one of your favorite things to do is there at some point. So
yeah, that day right there, that day was amazing. So that was my second season out. That's up in the Adirondacks on a super small lake. I lost 9 fish before I actually caught that one. So that was good. Setting the hook was always the problem. But I think I kind of got it figured out now. And, another thing too, that I feel like this might be specific to women is that we always feel like, oh, we're too cold or too hot or afraid of this and not sure. And for me, I feel like the gear, you have to have the right gear. So the first season I went out, I had on like a hoodie and a thermal underneath a jacket, and I was all bunched, looked like the kid from Christmas Story trying to walk in his snowsuit, right? But then this suit that I have here by Stryker, I mean, there's a bunch of other brands too, but this is like a flotation suit. So if I was to fall in the water, it helps to keep you above the water, right? It's made so that it's waterproof. So if you get into the water, it doesn't take on water. The wind does not penetrate this. So huge difference to me.
You probably move better too, right? You can move a lot better. Things like that.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself more.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're not trying to sit down and your arms are like all straight and stuff, trying to sit down. So gear makes a difference. The buddy heater inside the shanty, it's not bad either. Not gonna lie.
That helps. I think that helps while we're hunting too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I have a blind up and I get a buddy heater in it, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I take mine camping.
Super cozy, little blanket over your legs, nice big king chair.
Well, the nice part about my fun with ice fishing is it's just like regular fishing, but usually inside that blind, there's a couple of you, so you can really enjoy people's presence while ice fishing.
Yeah, the camaraderie too. I love the stories. So again, going back to the hunting thing, I'm kind of bouncing around, but this year was my second year going out. First year, I feel like, again, hunting is sort of a male-dominated sport. It's hard in a lot of communities for women to sort of get their foot in the door to kind of find either a bunch of guys or a couple of other women really to connect with that will allow them to come and hunt properties. I feel like there's kind of a code of conduct, right? Depending on which group you get into. Don't tell anybody the spot. Make sure you don't bring any people. So I feel like asking the questions is really important when you're trying to find out where you belong in this kind of community. And thankfully, my boyfriend and his buddies have been very gracious and allowed me into the group. So like the opening day celebration of hunting in his buddy's garage, I was allowed to go to that both years that I was out, which was really cool. And this year they let me hunt part of the property on my own, which was super cool. I didn't see anything. But I feel like just being in the woods and hearing the sounds of the woods, like that's all important.
Absolutely. Too many people miss that.
The subtleties. I mean, and even, so first year, when I was out, I saw a huge buck, but he was like 150 yards away. I could see him through my scope. I felt like I just wasn't comfortable making the shot. So I got to see a deer that year. And then this year, being in the woods by myself, I got to learn more about the woods and the surroundings, but also noticed the angles of the sun, the time of day. Things can look completely different in the same spot, just based on the sun and where it's at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I feel like a lot of people miss that because, you're not sitting in a chair in the woods looking around for hours on end. I did see a deer this year too. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get a shot off on him. He was 40 yards this time though, instead of 150. So I'm getting closer. And he didn't know I was there. So that was pretty cool. Like I got to watch him in his natural environment. And it's just, I don't know, like it's awe-inspiring just to see this creature that I always saw like on the side of the road or hanging from a tree in the backyard, like in its natural habitat, doing its thing, and had no idea that I was there. So that was pretty cool.
I think it's really cool how you just took a risk one day and you were getting out of your fears and decided, I'm going to try this. And then each time you tried it, you found love with it more and more. Yeah. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I leveled up each time. And I really do feel like there's a connection there, right? Like we're in this world, and a lot of times we become so disconnected because we work 40 to 50 hours a week. We have 2 or 3 kids. We have a house we have to pay for, and husband or a wife, and the kids want to go places and do things and have stuff, and you don't want your kids to have their faces in their computers all day, and you get so caught up in that stuff that you forget about the things that are outside your house. Like Saturday morning at 5:30 in the summertime is amazing.
Absolutely.
But nobody's up because we're tired.
I drive to my favorite hunting spot, my new hunting spot, just to sit in my truck and watch the sunset.
Yeah. During COVID, I can't tell you how many times I did that. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Chris always says I'm gay, but I don't care. It is so beautiful.
It has nothing to do with that.
There is something about it that is just like,
gay.
wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can handle that part.
Yeah. So I think COVID, even though a lot of people found a lot of negative things that, happened during COVID and during that whole time, I feel like it really was a time for a lot of people, myself included, to really sort of take notice on the world around us. And we might be stuck in our homes, but if we can get up and go out for a walk or drop our kids off at school or a friend's house or whatever it was, I had time to sit and I sat over by the farm that just cut their cornfields, and there was a light snow and the geese are all there honking at each other. And it was just, I don't know, there was something about that whole time for me that I think really helped to solidify.
It sounds to me like you're taking in what most hunters, most real, I call them real outdoors men and women, take in, and that is you start to realize God made something absolutely beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah.
And you start to realize how wonderful it really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I will have to say, though, my favorite, the most amazing thing I've done outdoors so far, I bet you can't figure out what it is.
Oh, I could tell. Just play this. I could tell.
Yeah. So there's. I think. Did I send you guys a picture of my turkey?
I forwarded them right to Chris. We were running late. That was my fault.
Chris, get on it.
Chris, I really am enjoying her. She's giving it to you, man. You gotta hurry up. No.
So this day, oh no, did I not send you the turkey picture? Oh yeah, right there. That guy.
Right there. There it is.
So this was by far all encompassing, just an awesome day. So you guys know this, if you turkey hunt, is that you got to get up before the sun even thinks about getting up. So it's not the crack of dawn. It's like before the crack of dawn.
I know you want to hear this, but I call it the ass crack of dawn.
Yeah, ass crack of dawn. I was going to say
that's what we call it. Like it's really early.
Yeah. So we got up and I'm like, oh man, I don't know. We went out the day before. We didn't see anything. We've tried so hard to find these turkeys. And this piece of property just happened to come by chance. We're at a wedding and my boyfriend was talking to a friend who was talking to a friend. He's like, oh yeah, I got this property, blah, blah. I shoot deer there, but there's tons of turkeys. He's like, oh, turkeys. So we kind of happened upon this property and we get up there. It's dark. Didn't really know where we were going. It's not new property. Neither one of us know it at all. So we're like, okay, we're just going to sit at the edge of the woods, whatever. So I got this cool new turkey vest. I was sporting with some pink stuff on it. And I was like, oh, look at me. I'm a girl in a turkey vest. So loved a little cushion because it was nice and cushy. It wasn't uncomfortable. And so we're sitting there. God, I think it was 5:30 in the morning, 6:30. 7:30. I'm like, there's not a single turkey in these woods. And I can't call yet, but hopefully next year or this year I'll be able to. But so my boyfriend just calls them in by mouth, no turkey call or read or anything. Yeah, he's pretty incredible.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. And so we're sitting there waiting, and I heard some turkeys way off in the distance. He's like, they're gonna come here. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, they gotta come. They got to. So we're sitting there, he's facing one way, I'm facing the other. And all of a sudden, and he must have been calling for 45 minutes. I hear them super close, but I'm so afraid to move because he has me terrified that they're going to see any kind of little movement. So I'm frozen stiff. And off kind of to the right, my peripheral vision, I see this sort of white and red thing. I'm like, is that it? Is that it? I'm like, I think I see him. I think I see him. He's like, be quiet. So like we're sitting there, he's calling. And like, again, it seemed like an hour for them to come across the field. They were probably about 150 yards away at first. And they slowly start coming. There's 3 of them coming across the field. I got my rifle all ready to go, or shotgun. And they're coming closer and closer. And then like they're close enough. And then I had this panic moment where I'm like, are they close enough? Should I wait longer? What if I wait? What if they go away? I'm like, calm down. Like you have to internalize and like get yourself so calm about it. And yeah, I mean, they just came right in front of us. One of them propped their head up and he's like, if you see him, take the shot. Not even 2 seconds later, I had already said in my head, I'm like, that's the one I'm getting. And there's his head. And so I shot him. First shot and smoked him. It was awesome.
So for the women out there who have never turkey hunted, I'm going to ask, I'm going to put it in my words, but
yeah,
when you hear that, how like exciting is that? Explain how.
Yes. It's so
it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Your body just like shakes. You're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know they're coming when you hear them. When they start gobbling, oh my gosh, it's the best sound ever.
I always say I don't have to turkey hunt. If I can just go call for somebody, I'm just as happy. It doesn't matter. That sound is what makes turkey hunt.
Yeah, it was great. Another cool thing about that is there's 2 other parts to that story. So a couple weekends before, during Massachusetts turkey opening weekend, I had gone out with Cheryl, and we must have driven to 5 or 6 different properties, and we heard the turkeys, but they just weren't coming in, or like their head would just come above the crest of like a hill and you could see them, but then their head would disappear and then they're gone. So it's just like, they're escaping you every minute that you're trying to chase them. But the chase is amazing. So amazing. That was great.
They're smart. Yeah. That's why stalking turkeys is illegal. I know in PA, because that's what everybody gets so excited. They see a little head pop up. And everybody's like, oh, I can belly crawl over there. And then all of a sudden it's a decoy and you're taking it out.
Yeah, it's true. Another cool part of that day that I shot my turkey, we were sitting on the property, like I said, from super early in the morning, and there was dew on the grass and whatnot. At one point, I was sitting there and the sun came up kind of just in the canopy of the trees. So it was kind of this golden white color coming through the trees. And I turned to my left and there's a deer. I kid you not, 25 yards away. So close that I could see the dew on its whiskers off its nose. It still had the velvet on his antlers. I mean, amazing. Like that picture is in my mind.
It's probably my second most favorite part of turkey hunting is that somehow the deer will walk right up to you 5 yards away.
Yeah, the deer are like, I already know. You're after
but you can't shoot me, dude. I'm good.
Exactly. And then the turkeys come out during deer season.
That's the truth.
It's like
I've seen turkeys during the deer season. I've had them all over me all deer season.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Ben and I were walking up in Centralia, and that's what we saw was just a flock run up the hill. We didn't see anything else, but we saw that. Yeah.
I see turkeys all the time in deer season. It's sick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to run into, I hear your stories fishing and hunting, and I am loving every one of them. Where did Chasing the Open Air Facebook page originate from? What started this?
Yeah. So I don't know, to be honest, if I'm just going to bluntly say it.
Yeah, absolutely. Be honest.
So I went to a bow program in the fall of we're 24 now. I think it was the fall of 22. And I was just getting the hang of fishing, and I bought like some chintzy old $15 pole, and I was like, I know how to put a hook on here. I can do a knot. I'm going to go up and I'm going to fish during the bow program. I'm going to get up early in the morning, and it's right on Lake George, the place we were staying. So I'm like, I'm going to throw a line out there and I'm going to catch fish. And my boyfriend's like, all right, good luck. Have fun. Encouraging me, but like, you're going to catch like little tiny fish. And I was like, I don't care. I just want to catch something on my own. Like, I want no one's help, and I'm just going to do it. So I did. I caught these little tiny, little sunnies is what I caught. Little like pumpkin seeds. and threw them all back, whatever. But after that, I came home and I kept saying to him, I'm like, there's just something there's so satisfying about being outside, the hot cup of coffee, sitting by the water, but actually doing something. Like I could do something that could actually feed my family. And he's like, yeah, it's amazing. Like fishing is great for that and hunting. We kind of had that whole conversation. And I was like, I need other women to know how to do this. And he's like, what? I'm like, I need to teach other women to know how to do this, or at least get them close to resources to be able to learn things, like whether it's fly fishing or salmon fishing. Like I went on some salmon fishing charters. I just feel like there's some kind of empowerment and self-sufficiency to it, like to know that if and when the world, loses its mind, which I feel like we're seeing, we can actually go out and take care of our families. So I started thinking about names, and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't want it to be a hunting related thing, because if women are intimidated by guns, I don't want them to feel like it's just hunting, or they have to perform in any kind of way. They can come and learn other things like Dutch oven cooking or whatever, like dehydration and fermentation, those kinds of things too. And I honestly, I don't know where chasing the open air came from, but I thought of it and I was like, it's perfect, because I want to be outside. I want to be chasing new opportunities and learning new things and sharing with other people. And so I feel like it really reflects what the goal really is for me.
I like the name. I absolutely love the name, but I also watch your Facebook page a lot, and we watch you a lot. So I know you have a lot of events that involve other women. So, and I always see that you're trying to reach others, and inspire. And that's one of the reasons we asked you on the show. Of course, that's what we want. We want everybody inspired by you guys.
Yeah.
So, at what point did chasing the open air turn into the now? I realize that you always wanted to help, but at some point it made a turn, right? Like you're doing it. I'm watching you. You're starting to fulfill this dream you're after.
Yeah. So I'd say last year, really. Yeah. I started, so I said to my boyfriend last year, we had gone striper fishing a couple times. I had gone salmon fishing with him and a bunch of his buddies out on Lake Ontario, there's no greater rush than that. Man, salmon are amazing. And so last year I said to him, I want to do something with like other women, but I can't figure out where to find a place to go like fishing and with other women, like groups of women. And he said to me, he's like, why don't you just set up a charter? Duh. So I was like, you know what? That's kind of a good idea. So I wound up getting in touch with, one of the charter captains. His name is Casey Presco. He's out in Lake Ontario. He runs Dirty Goose Sport Fishing. And I called him and he knows. Yeah, he knows my boyfriend. And I said, look, this is what I want to do. He's like, it sounds great. How many boats do you want? How many women are you going to bring? And I was like, oh dear, I don't know. So I kind of just said, well, let's do 10. So we put together, the first trip was 10 women. We had 2 boats, 8 or 10, actually, maybe it was 8, 2 boats. And he knows the deal. Like he's got, I think 4 or 5 boats now on the water. He's got awesome captains. He's great. I mean, he's got all the gear. So we didn't have to figure out what we needed to bring and spend all kinds of money. We just went, we had a great time. We caught a ton of fish. Right now, all the trout they're going nuts. I love the pictures. And so it's been a super fun time. I also met through Dirty Goose. I met AJ Berry, who is also a guide out there. I was trying to hook up with him for some ice fishing this year. It didn't work out because, ice or a lack thereof.
Definitely a lack thereof.
Yeah. So, but yeah, great guys. They're super patient. And women, we also, I know that guys, I mean, there's women and men that really like the end result, the catch or the kill or the thing, right? At the very end, the goal, meeting the goal. But I think when you're a woman and you are a little intimidated by, again, the male dominated aspect of this, your goal isn't the end result. It's learning how to get there. It's
the initial.
Yeah, it's the process. It's
Okay.
it's the how do I do it and do it right. We're more procedural oriented. I feel like women are. We want to be good at the steps, and then if we're good at the steps, we'll obviously meet the goal. But I think guys sometimes just run out like, guns blazing, just to catch the fish and to kill the deer. So, these guys have been really great. Dirty Goose and AJ, they've been really great.
Now, I know you said, is this, let me start by, is this one of you do this event often, right? This here is something you're always.
Yeah. Yep. So I did a trout charter last year with Dirty Goose. And then I did 2 salmon charters in September with them also. And then, so those were the inaugural trips. And then this year, I just got my dates. I haven't even put them out on my Facebook page yet, but for those that are listening, I have a date coming up in June for trout again. And then, trout and salmon, I should say. And then in September, I have 2 more dates ready to go.
And they can find those ads on your Facebook page, correct?
Yep. I'll have them up soon. I'll probably put the trout up within the next couple days. And then the salmon, I'll get those up also. If I have enough interest, I mean, I'll take 3 dates and we can do 3 dates out there too.
So another question I had watching your events and dates, because, we want women to do it too. We want them all to go in and inspire. And I love what you're doing. I love you're getting others involved. It looks like you're having a great time.
Yeah.
It looks like you're really enjoying what you're doing. So when you open this up for these events on your Facebook page, is this open to women all over the world, or you try to stick to one area, or?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the first trip I took, so the Hiker Babes group that I'm involved in, I opened it up as a Hiker Babes event. And with the one day, so we go and we stay at a place called Double Eagle Lodge, which is amazing. It's cabins of 6. So it works out fairly easy and super affordable for people that come. So there's 6 women to each room. And then the first day is the day that we wake up early and we go out fishing. And then the second day before we leave, we usually go and do a hike somewhere. So last year we did Salmon River Falls. So, and it was gorgeous. We went to the hatchery also. So we got to see that, which was pretty cool. And that was pretty much all local women to New York. Okay. The second trip that I did, I had people reaching out to me from Georgia. I had somebody from Southern California interested in coming. So I was like, wow, like people are going to fly all the way across the country just to come to my silly little trip. But it was great. And then the third one, I actually had a woman from Minnesota come. And I'm thinking, Minnesota, you got killer fishing out there. Why would you come here? But another thing I failed to realize is that New York State out in Pulaski and the Salmon River, it's like world renowned for the salmon run. So a lot of people,
I love Pulaski. I love it. I go up there every year.
A lot of people have heard about it. A lot of people want to come. And again, it's mostly a male dominated thing. So you've been out during like the salmon run.
Oh yeah. I've been in a crazy. I have videos up of it.
Yeah. I don't want to be around that. That is not relaxing or fun to me.
We fish the small tributaries. I try to stay and we try to hit. One thing I can tell you is during the week is always less than on the weekend.
For sure.
So even though I don't like the amount of people, we did find little ways we can try to minimize the run-ins.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great time. I just recently also met a couple of women at the last bow event that I went to that live in Pulaski. So we're going to try to get together, and I'm learning center pin fishing now, which is top notch.
Center pin fishing?
Center pin? Yeah. So it's similar to fly fishing, but there's no drag. So it's all manual.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. There's a, I feel like it's not as difficult as fly fishing. It's not as much as it's not as choreographed, but when you're standing in the water in waders, so you are in the environment that the fish are in, and now you're center pin fishing. So if there's a sensitivity to it, like I don't know, there's like a connection with the fish with wading and center pin fishing. I don't know. I can't explain it. It just really just speaks to me. I love it. I had no idea that any of this stuff even existed. Like I'm thinking spinning rod, little push button. That's all I ever knew.
You are learning and have learned the real meaning of the outdoors.
Yeah, it's incredible. And
You're falling in love
other
with
people to feel this so bad. So what you're showing right now too on your screen. So this is my friend Cheryl. She runs a blog called Wild Woman, Northeast Wild Woman. She also has a very similar heart to mine. She wants to teach kids and she wants to keep this legacy of being in the outdoors and providing for your family, and like that family bond that you can get when you do this type of thing with your kids and your parents and your grandparents, generational. Yeah, she's been instrumental in my journey here. So it's pretty amazing. We also, just to talk about this final group too, there's two more groups that I actually belong to. One is American Daughters of Conservation. And just amazing. These women, it's a national organization. We're in 35 states. These women are incredible. Each woman that is either president or vice president of her chapter, there's chapters in each state, 35 states anyway. And the stories and the things that they've done it's so inspirational to someone like me who's kind of just starting out. There's a fire when these women get together. I did a trip with my friend Cassie Noss, who is in Michigan. She put together a Michigan salmon trip. I'm not sure how you say that properly, but there were 4 of us that went out. We camped for 3 days, and we fished on a drift boat, like float fishing for salmon. Amazing. There's some kind of thing that happens when we all get together and we're sort of trying to get the same goal, and we're like cheering each other on. And I don't know, like I feel like these women I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life just because we've shared this experience together. In the second day, I think we caught 22 fish between the 4
Wow,
of us.
that's a good day.
Nuts. It was totally nuts.
Yeah, that's a good day there.
Clean the fish. The thing that I love about this organization is that it's inspirational. It's you can learn things even if you're brand new to something. People will take you under their wing and teach you the basics of something, and really are your biggest cheerleader for you to be successful. In addition to the conservation side, so it's not just about going out and having this fun experience, hunting or fishing or even hiking together, foraging. We've done foraging trips. Deep sea fishing kind of things, but it's also about the conservation of the areas that you're in, making sure that there are environments and habitats are being taken care of, that you're also teaching the younger generation it's really important to like not overfish and not overhunt, but also make sure that you're keeping the carrying capacity of the areas also reasonable. So it's just a great organization. It's an organization that requires a yearly fee or yearly dues, but all that money goes towards property for conservation efforts. We're actually buying land through the American Daughters of Conservation.
Nice.
As a conservation effort. Yeah. So
that's really cool.
It started in Florida, so their chapter is enormous. But our Northeast chapter, it's all the Northeastern states. We're not a huge chapter yet, but we're hoping that, more women up here come out of the woodwork and join us. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I think what's really cool is that you are giving us a lot of resources to share with other women.
Yeah.
to reach out there and be part of. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great. The support in this community for someone who is just starting out is, you just got to find the right resources, and you know what's not going to, you can feel what's not going to fit almost right off the bat, in my opinion. You know, I just also recently, in the last couple months, got connected with Rachel Voss, who is part of the First Hunt Foundation. And I've signed up to be a mentor with them, but I haven't really had a whole lot of connection with the organization yet. So I'm looking forward to getting to know them better, and getting those girls out there.
This is something I'm interested in. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is Chris and I's goal. Well, Chris and I's goal is to become nonprofit and be able to take kids on their own hunt. To be honest with you, we'd like to purchase a piece of land that is strictly for taking these young youth out, kids, handicapped,
in a safe environment.
Absolutely. That's our goal in this whole thing, and being able to, reach other organizations to be able to help people in the areas.
Yep. Yeah. And, I think it's important to just say, as a woman getting into this type of thing, you're gonna feel pressure when you try to go to, the good old boys club down at the Rod and Gun Club in the small town.
That photo was great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That photo was awesome.
You're gonna feel, that is great. You're gonna feel that pushback. You're gonna feel that we don't want change here, kind of thing. And sometimes you have to just be subtle and show people that you're serious, because women really are becoming a huge sector of the hunting community. So,
it sounds like you found a crap ton of resources, and you are utilizing every single one of them along the way.
I love it. It's a gift. It's my gift. I always say, I'm like, I find the people that need the thing, and then I find the thing, and then I connect them together. So, yeah.
I love that. Like, I really love that.
Look at how
you were new to it. You started, you weren't sure, intrigued as a kid, and then all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, this is cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's some amazing women. There's a woman in Wisconsin, I think is where she's from. She might be Michigan, actually. Her name's Felicia Marie. She runs an awesome organization called Women of the Wild. They're actually coming on. Oh, they are?
They're the last thing. We're getting the whole team, actually. We're getting the whole team, 8 of the 10. Great.
Felicia is amazing. Then there's this other woman in Canada. I want to say she's in British Columbia. Her name's Laura Jenkins. She's a guide. I saw her. She was the first person. I was like, what? Women do this? This is crazy. But she she has the super respect of all the guys that go up there. She's amazing. She does all this awesome stuff. There's another girl who lives out in Colorado. I think she's recently moved to Montana. Andreas Grangloth. I can't say her name right, but she just wrote a book about her whole story and how being outdoors helped her deal with a lot of trauma that happened to her at a young age. And it's just amazing. Like the power that women have in them. It just blows my mind. So it's pretty amazing. And I'm super excited to be a part of the whole thing. So I just got my application for New York State Hunters Ed certification. So I get to go for my class soon, and soon I'll be teaching that.
Nice. Well, you really are stepping it up. You really are taking every part of what's going on.
I'm trying to retire, man, in the next 5 years. Do something I love.
Let me ask you this, because I know we're getting close to our time limit and close to our goal here. What is your goals in the future? Do you have any plans to step it up a notch, or anything moving forward that you think will really take a big hop?
Yeah, good question. So I have a lot of things sort of ruminating. My youngest kid is 15, and he'll be graduating in 2 years. So I got to kind of figure out, what am I going to do? I work in the pharmaceutical industry right now, which doesn't necessarily line up with my heart, but thankful for it, because God placed me into this position to be able to take care of my boys, and I'm super thankful for that. But I think it's time to just really jump in. I want to teach hunter's ed to women and kids. I really want women to be comfortable defending themselves. So even I feel like self-defense classes may come into play. But really just feeling confident that, again, if and when the world sort of shits the bed, women feel like they have a leg to stand on and are able to care for their kids and their families. So hopefully I can get paid doing that somehow.
Well, I will tell you that we've done a lot of checking on the 501(c)s, and I think you can actually get paid through that. It's just you're only allowed a small percentage of it.
Yeah.
So you're check into it. But there is a way, because you have to pay staff.
Yep.
So you have to pay staff. Well, if you're the only staff, then you got to pay yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is things involved in that. So I would definitely recommend checking into. I think it's a great dream, and I think that 501(c) probably be your way to go. You could be I'm sorry, I completely lost where I was going with it.
Like a guide of sorts, almost.
Well, you could be a guide. You could but you could do it as a nonprofit. So you'll make no money, and your money will come back. So that allows you to do raffles and fundraisers. It allows you to put things up to keep money coming in to be able to give back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our goal. You want to be able to give back. You don't want to pay for it out of your pocket. You just said you want to get out. You want to retire, right? So if you got to work to pay for somebody to do it, this is one thing Chris and I talk about a lot. We put a lot of money out, but we don't get any money in.
Yeah.
And that makes it tough, right? So the goal is that you can do things to help bring the income in that you can retire.
Yeah.
Set back and enjoy what your life is. So I would definitely recommend checking into things and organizations like that, even if you just become part of one of them.
Yeah. Yep. Very true.
And I will tell you that I think your energy, I think that you have the perfect energy to make this happen. It sounds like you had a bad spot in your life, and I think we all have. But it sounds like you had a bad spot in your life, and you realize once I get over this hump, life's going to take me in a new direction. It sounds like your direction, that map led you right to where you want to be.
Yep. It's awesome.
And I'm super.
Everybody, like you said, everybody has that bad moment, but you can make that bad moment can either kill you or it can make you rise up. So, I mean, I had 3 kids and I'm like, I don't have a choice here. So I had to rise up and figure it out. And here we are. So
I say that every day. Yeah. I'm a single dad of 3. I can't fail. There's no option.
Yeah.
Failing is unacceptable, right?
Yep, exactly. Or failing is actually what helps you appreciate the success too.
Agree, but as a single parent, failing is unacceptable. We find a way to make it even when we fail.
True.
So again, I know we're at our hour mark, and I try not to ever cut anybody short. And I'm going to ask because it's just me. I don't care where time is.
Yeah.
If you had any inspiring words, or if there's anything you could say that you think would reach out there, I want you to really think about this. That you could reach somebody out there to make them want to give it a try, or to make them think, wow, this may be for me. What would you say?
Geez, I'm not prepared.
I put you in a spot, I know, but
yeah,
I want it off the top of your head. I don't want you to think about it. I want you to be able to just.
So the first thing that popped into my head is I'm going to talk to you about, like, for just a minute about my friend Meg. So she's going to hate that I brought her up, but I'm going to do it anyway. I met her at the Bow program 2 years ago, May, when I went. The very first one I did, first one she did. She was quietly sitting at a table, and me and my big mouth, I went over. I'm like, "Hi, Meg, I'm Vikki, blah, blah, blah." So we started talking, and we kept in touch. She was kind of not in a great spot relationally. She has a couple of kids and whatnot, and we kind of talked about that, whatever, and kept in touch. And every once in a while we'd text each other. She came with me last year on the first charter trip that I did. And it was literally like a light went on. I don't know how to explain it, but like the color of her skin changed being out there on the boat and catching the fish. And that's the picture that I sent you of her and AJ, Meg and AJ. And, she just glowed different when she left. And she said, when you do this again, I'm coming again. She has been on every single charter trip. And we're now super close. She's in a very good spot. She's just restarting a lot of different things. And I feel like she's gained confidence in herself from some of these trips because she knows that she can do it. She knows that whatever she's in the middle of, she can do it. She's coming on a fly fishing trip in May with American Daughters of Conservation, and she's never fly fished before in her life. She's like, well, we're going to try it out. So I love that she's taking that step. And I feel like if you're sitting and like listening to this and you're just afraid to take the first step, trust me, it's so worth it. Whatever it is that you're going to do, whatever it is that you find interest in, it could be basket weaving or painting or writing. I feel like you just got to take that first step. It's the hardest step. It is, but you just got to do it. You owe it to yourself. And if you need inspiration or someone to cheer you on, you got to inbox me because I love this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what
I think everybody so far we've had on over the years, last year and start of this year has been that we just started this last year, has been very inspiring. And I think everyone has offered their inbox. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you that most men won't do that.
Yeah.
Most men will never do that. Now, I'll say that sticking up for women 110%. Most men will never be like, hey, man, shoot me a message. It's they're going to be like, oh, this idiot just messaged. I ain't messaging him. I really didn't think he'd message me, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk to you women, I can feel there's a sense and there's a meaning there. Like when you guys say it, you're dead serious.
It's a sense of community, right? Yeah. We have to lean on each other. We have to.
Absolutely.
I feel like if we don't, it all falls apart. Men or women or whatever. I mean, like we have to lean on each other. We have to connect with each other. It really is that sort of sense that God put in our hearts, that sense of community and connection. And when we don't have it, we feel dead. No one wants that. Yeah.
Agree.
It's bad. So
I think when it comes to hunting community, too many of us lose sight of what our real goal is.
Yeah.
I don't care. I say this all the time. I don't care if you shoot a crossbow or a compound. I don't care if you shoot a 17 or a 6.5 Creedmoor. Those things don't matter to me.
Yeah.
What matters to me is how much do you love the outdoors and are you an ethical hunter in it?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you're shooting deer with a spotlight, we ain't on the same level.
Right. Yeah.
And those are the things I look at. I don't care how big of a buck you shot. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care if you never shot a buck.
Yeah.
And Chris, you're a man who can tell that story over and over again. So Chris, how many years did it take you, Chris?
Too many.
But he never gave up. He loved it, never gave up, kept trying. And this was the first. Now I will tell you that I blame Chris because this is the first year I never shot a deer since I'm 12. That Chris shot a buck, so I believe that he like cursed me.
Where are you guys? Where are you located? Are you Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we're out of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yep. I'd be interested in coming to one of your charters. So I don't care if I'm a guy or a girl. It doesn't matter to me. I'd be interested. I'd come hang out with you.
Wear braid your hair.
I wear a dress, man. I ain't scared. No.
You should be scared.
I ain't scared. Do you see the way this world is? I'm not scared.
I know.
I think that's a lot of it. I think fear. Sorry.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got hit really bad 2 years ago, I think, or last year with that the deer wasting disease. We got hit too.
Yeah. So we have it right now pretty bad.
Yeah, we had there's 8 hunters in the group that I kind of infiltrated, and they usually kill, like they usually have no tags. This year a lot of people had tag soup, so it's like, it'll come back though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. It'll come back. I don't worry about those things. I'm praying that this year's your year for you. Yeah. I'd love to hear your story once you get one.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you back on to hear your first deer story. I think that'll be a really cool story. I think that'll be super exciting.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me too. This has been awesome.
I hope you enjoyed yourself. It's one thing I always want. When you ladies leave, I want you to always want to come back. I always want you to enjoy yourself while you're here. Yeah. And I super want you to inspire others. And we're hoping that, that's our goal and everything. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I'm super, super psyched that you guys are having Felicia and Women of the Wild.
So Felicia herself won't be on, but I believe we get her whole team.
Okay. All right.
So, I believe we're going to have her whole team.
Too. Yeah.
Last I heard, it was going to be 8 of 10 when I talked to Felicia. So.
Oh, boy. You're not going to get a word in edgewise, bro.
It's okay. Listen, I told Chris it's going to be the first time we have multiple guests, and that's, in that array. I'm actually really excited for it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of laughing. I think there's going to be a lot of laughing and a lot of going, and I really am super excited to.
Yeah. That's great.
To get it on. So I'm super excited for that.
Awesome. I
am going to say, Vikki, thank you very much. I don't think I've ever been on time, just so you know, we have a guest. Our time is 45 minutes, so don't feel bad. A lot of ladies are like, oh man, no message, man. So don't ever feel bad because we have never been on time. Ever. Have we, Chris? Ever.
I don't think ever.
Yeah, ever. So we want you to go over. We want you to want to be here. And that's why we don't cut the show. I don't want you to go. I want you to be here. I want you to get your point across. We want you to, be part of it and enjoy it. So I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Chris feels the same way. Thank you very much for your time, your stories, and your inspiration.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys reaching out, and I'll definitely come back and tell you my next story. So,
and I want to throw out before you go, we will share anything you want to share. Send it to us, and we will. If you got links or you got upcoming events, you have anything, you send it to us. We will put it up on the page. We will share anything you have to try to keep what you're doing going and help keep your.
Oh, can I give myself a plug for one more thing?
Absolutely.
So there is another friend of mine, Megan Pleat Postal. She is an Artemis women's sportswomen ambassador. And then my other friend, Ashley Reed, she works with Prois. We put together in every other month, New York State monthly meetup for women. So we are having a meetup next Sunday, which is the 18th of February, near Utica. And we're going to talk about ice fishing and do some ice fishing basics and have a guest speaker come and teach the ladies a couple of things. So if anyone's interested, reach out to one of the three of us at any of our organizations, and we'll get you hooked up with the info.
February 17th is Taste of the Wild Outdoors here in PA. If you're not afraid to take that 4-hour drive, they're going to have some crazy stuff down here.
Yeah.
Pack some women up and come on down. They're going to have some crazy stuff. We're excited.
You may
beaver, coyote.
That link is.
Yep. Beaver, coyote,
really?
bobcat. And they are going to have some crazy dishes.
Wow.
I have rabbit kibasi here ready to go, donated by Gary Stein. And I have 50 squirrels here ready to go. This event's going to be crazy. It's going to be cool. If you're looking for something neat that is like out of your comfort, this event is awesome. They raise money for youth. The youth in that area. So we're going.
All right. I might need a link to that event. We'll see.
I'll definitely send it to you. It'd be cool.
All right. Awesome.
But thank you very much. I hope God blesses what you do and blesses your whole family to keep going.
Thank you so much.
With what you've started. So
awesome.
Thank you. And have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
All right. We'll be in touch.